चिदानन्दकलां वाणीं वन्दे चन्द्रकलाधरां नैर्मल्यतारतम्येन बिम्बितां चित्तभित्तिषु श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. A warm welcome to all of you to this beautiful evening. Before we begin the program, I would request Shatavadhani Dr. R. Ganesh to do Pushparchana to Bharat Mata. असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय. ओम शांति शांति शांति. Thank you, sir. This beautiful evening, we have Dr. Shatavadhani Dr. R. Ganesh with us to deliver a special talk on the topic, Concept of Beautiful in Indian Culture. I am Bhavana Kashyap, your host for this evening. This talk is arranged by Disha Bharat. Disha Bharat is an NGO working in the field of value education for the last 20 years. Disha Bharat conducts programs, mostly one-day workshops for students, teachers, and parents, keeping the theme of know yourself, know your country, and know your culture. Different workshops, activity-based workshops, are conducted for college students and faculty through the faculty development program, and we have reached more than 4.5 lakh students and 30,000 teachers through the different programs. To commemorate the 20th year of existence, Disha Bharat is organizing this special talk. So we have Dr. Shatavadhani Dr. R. Ganesh with us, and it's my absolute honor and privilege to introduce you, sir. I run out of words to introduce you, actually, but for the audience, he's a polyglot scholar, an Avadhani, an orator, and to me, he has delivered several talks, and through those talks, mostly delivered in Gokhale Institute, very close by here, that I have opened my eyes to the fascinating world of Indian culture. Sir, without further ado, I would request you to talk to us today on the topic, Concept of Beautiful in Indian Culture. Thank you. Welcome you once again to this August gathering. Thank you.
Om Tat Sat. Pranomi Kvanadhonkara Manighanta Vibhushitam Kaviloka Kutumbasya Suktidhenum Saraswatim. Good evening. It is very heartening to interact with you for a few minutes here. And also I am extremely beholden to Disha Bharat, which I know since 2 decades. And it is quite a pleasant surprise that after many years I came across an invitation from Disha Bharat, and knowing that this is the 20th year, now it has become mature enough. So now it is time to know something regarding beauty. Who else can be more interested in beauty than the youngsters in 20s? In that sense also, the topic will be very befitting. Now coming to the topic of today's evening, the concept of the beautiful in Indian culture. I particularly insisted to speak on this topic. I myself proposed this topic, and I was very particular about this topic for the main reason, beauty is such a great entity that has been realized and created in so many ways, in so much of quantity and quality by the people of Sanatana Dharma, where we don't find any such parallel in the rest of the world. I know how decisive and how responsible is this statement. I have in front of me Greeks, the Romans, the Egyptians, and many other people. But no such culture is a living one now. It is only Sanatana Dharma and Bharatiya Sanskriti that is living. So it is an unbroken tradition of not less than some 7,000 years of datable history. We have the legacy of beauty. but it is not so true with respect to other civilizations and other cultures. And more than anything, in the other living traditions, mostly of Semitic origin, beauty is often shunned there. Beauty is opposed to religion. But in Sanatana Dharma, beauty is one of the main aspects of the highest truth. In that sense, there is no difference between Satyam and Sundaram. When John Keats, a renowned poet from English, he spoke, beauty is truth and truth is beauty, that is to be known and that is all to be known. It is so natural a truth, home truth to we people, but it may be a real revelation to the West. I know Greeks had a greater sense for beauty. Even then, they never arrived at a common aesthetics, what we find in Natyashastra. We don't come across such a book like Natyashastra in the whole of Europe and even in the rest of the world. Even today, such a holistic book is lacking in the West. Only treatises connected with drama and dramaturgy, theatre, and such things, they got developed from 18th century and 18th century onwards. Well, that's how Indian tradition, Sanatana Dharmic tradition, has been very close, devout student of the concept of beauty, creation, and appreciation of beauty. But in spite of all this reality, the Western people who first discovered India, and even great scholars who produced a lot of written material on India and Indian culture, they had their own reservations. Just to bring one statement from Professor M. Hiriyanna, he quotes a statement from Max Muller. Professor M. Hiriyanna is a great luminary from Karnataka who was the torchbearer of Sanatana Dharma and Indian culture, who was an erudite scholar in various systems of philosophy and aesthetics, that is, the science of beauty, science of art. He hailed from Mysore, and he was a professor of Sanskrit and philosophy in Mysore University. And it has been spoken of him that he was a professor, he was a great writer who never wrote a useless word. That was the impeccable expression which he had. And in this slender monograph, Art Experience, which was published almost before 100 years, even today it is very valuable and it remains to be so. A signal illustration of the indefiniteness of this opinion is furnished by Max Muller. He says, the very scholar that was largely responsible for giving currency to the view that ancient Hindus were highly gifted philosophically, etc., etc. And what Max Muller says, the idea of beautiful in nature did not exist in Hindu mind. Can we bear with this? There are many such people. There are many. William Knight, Croce, and many people from the West, they made such comments. Because perhaps ignorance and arrogance, and the other thing is misunderstanding. They always thought, Western people thought, study of beauty and inquiry regarding the concept of beautiful and all, it goes as part of philosophy. In the Western philosophy, starting from Plato and Aristotle and many others, up to Whitehead, Hegel, Kant, many people, even we know whether to call him as a philosopher or not is a great question, Karl Marx. All such people have discussed whether they agree with it or not. They have discussed as part of their philosophy, their dialectics, their polemics. But in India, usually in philosophical treatises, we don't come across any discussion on beauty, on the concept of beauty. And that's why they thought there is no serious discourse, there is no serious interaction regarding beauty. But we have a separate Shastra devoted to it, and that is called as Alankara Shastra or Sahitya Shastra or Kala Mimamsa or Kavya Mimamsa or Natya Shastra or whatsoever. Like various systems of philosophy, that is of Patanjali's Yoga Shastra, that is Yoga Darshana, or Kapila's Sankhya, or Gautama's Nyaya, or Kanada's Vaisheshika, or Jaimini's Purvamimamsa, or Badarayana's Vedanta. We have one Rishi who propounded this system of philosophy of beauty, that is Bharata Maharshi. And we know from the very opening chapter of Natya Shastra, the deities, the demons, and the human beings, they all go as a delegation to the creator, Chaturmukha Brahma, and they have one request: Kridaniyakam ichhamo drashtum shrotuncha yad bhavet. We need an audio visual entertainment. And what to do? Everything has been already created. Then Brahma, Patyam Jagraha Rigvedat, he extracted lyrics from Rigveda, and then Samabhyo Gita Mevacha, music from Samaveda, Yajurveda, Abhinayam, and movements, histrionics of the body from Yajurveda, Rasa, Atharvana, Adapi, and the Rasa, emotions, from Atharva Veda. So it became the fifth Veda, Panchamo Veda, and Sarvavarniko Veda. It's a universal Veda which everyone could recite, which everyone could adopt, which everyone could follow, which everyone could imbibe. This is how it went on. And Trailokyasya Sarvasya Natyam Bhavanu Kirtanam. It is an exalted imitation of the three worlds, exalted imitation of the whole world, whole universe. Nat jnanam, natat shilpam, nasa vidya, nasa kala, naso yogo, natat karma, natyasmin yenna drishyate. There is no science, there is no art, there is no craft, there is no system of philosophy, there is no yoga which is not present in Natya Shastra. Natya Shastra is a comprehensive text, not just connected with dance. It is connected with art, architecture, iconography, painting, sculpture, music, instrumental music, dance, theatre, poetry, and various aspects of poetry, and art appreciation, connoisseurs, and competitions in art performance, and so many things. Well, but Natya Shastra is a product of recent years, that's how we think. Even from the conservative estimation of the Western scholars, it is not less than 2000 years old. According to me, it's much, much older. But even in the Vedas itself, we have a lot of references to the concept of beauty. Because when once a human being got evolved, the race, the species Homo sapien got evolved, the understanding of beauty, search for beauty, and zeal to create beauty, everything came. Likewise, it happened. Now, coming to the very word itself, beauty, beautiful, all these words are found in the Western world. Aesthetai is the Greek word that is perceive. Aesthetica is the word in Greek again, perceptible things. And then aesthetikos is relating to perception by senses, by the senses. This is how aesthetics, the word has come. Aesthetica is the Greek word. And beauty, that word has come from the old French beauté, and the vulgar Latin, as we call the colloquial Latin, from there bellitas, that is, or bellus, the root, and from there came beauty. Like that, the Western world has etymologized this. We have the Indian word sundara. We all know sundarasya bhavaha saundaryam, the thak pratyaya which goes with the sundara word, and so it has become saundarya, sundarasya bhavaha. That becomes beautiful, beautiful beauty. Now, how the word Sundara came into existence, the great grammarian, my mentor, Sri Ranganath Sharma Mahamopadhyaya, he gives the etymology in one of his books, Bharatiya Kavamimamsaya Hinnale, Kannada Bharatiya Kavamimamsaya Hinnale. In that book, he says, Su is the prefix, and then Dring Adare is the root. Sudriyata, Sudriyate, well conceived, well received. Adare, Dring Adare means well received, well conceived, well accepted, well considered. That becomes Sundara, something which is received well. And then the other etymology is Su, that is the prefix. Unati Kledayati, Undi Kledane. Chittam Darvikaroti iti Sundaram. It drenches, well soaked, well drenched. Both are connected with the receiving end, not with the creating end. Even in the case of the Western etymology of beauty and then aesthetics, the same meaning goes, but here it is much more clearer. Getting drenched means being soaked well, being immersed. In Tamil, we have great saints, 12 in number, including one lady, Andal, called as Alvars. What is the meaning of Alvar? One who has immersed in the beauty of devotion. In the ocean of devotion, one who has immersed, he or she is Alvar. Likewise, one who has immersed himself or herself in the ocean of beauty, he becomes a Rasika, and that could make us drench in the showers, in the ocean of beauty, is Sundara, Saundarya. And then Adare, receiving well. We all know if there are nobody to listen to, nobody to behold, nobody to study, nobody to enjoy, what is the purpose of art? According to Indian aesthetics, Rasa, the supreme concept, the universal concept of beauty, is realized in the hearts of connoisseurs who appreciate art. It is not present while being performed by a musician. When the singer is singing, when the dancer is dancing, when the painter is painting, when the poet is writing, they have a higher level of ecstasy. But that is not the real rasa. When they got that idea, a poet getting an idea of a new verse, a musician getting new idea of a raga, a dancer getting new idea of choreography, a painter getting new idea of a painting, that moment they too were rasikas, they were enjoying the art of the Lord. Then they had rasa. While they were creating art, they are involved with the responsibility of creating, the constraints of creation, and that's why their mind was highly active. It was not just sattva, it was alloyed with the rajas. Pure sattva, tatta sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakam anamayam, like that Bhagavad Gita says, it is the elevated state of blissful awareness. Activity is almost coming to zero, but awareness will be full. Awareness without activity. Activity means imbalance. If I want to take this bottle, imbalance should be created. If I want to move, if I want to get up, imbalance has to be created. My center of gravity has to be changed. So imbalance is the nature of rajas. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi. But sattva is balance, samatva. So that's how the connoisseurs, they are going to have rasa. And the artists will have rasa at the time of they getting that idea. While getting the idea, it is the divine grace, divine blessings. That's what we say. And that divine blessings is called as pratibha. Pratibha is the intangible element in art. Every other thing except rasa is tangible. Rasa is one intangible and pratibha is one intangible. Rasa is the end and pratibha is the beginning. So, this is how it happens. I am not going to confuse you with lot of technical words, but please bear with me, for this is a great science that has been developed. It's much subtler than physics, chemistry, botany, zoology, and nuclear physics or thermodynamics or whatsoever. And that subtler science has been so beautifully conceived, developed, and logically codified and explained and systematized, and that has been perpetuated for posterity along with art creation. Art creation is one channel, art appreciation other channel, they go hand in hand. Like flow of a river and channelizing the river water. Both happen simultaneously, like that it happened. Now, coming back to it, this is how it is getting drenched and receiving well. The connoisseur will receive. In the heart of the connoisseur, real art appreciation happens, and that art enjoyment is called rasa. Rasanam rasaha, rasyate iti rasaha. That is something tasted at one level, and at the higher level, it is very taste itself. Where we forget that we are watching a play or watching a movie or listening to music or reading a novel or beholding a beautiful sculpture or painting or whatsoever, we forget. Our sense organs are working. Our mind is working, our intellect, everything is working, but we don't have the awareness of all these things. We become one with the object. We lose our senses with complete sense. And this is a way of involving without involvement, and that is called Sadharanikarana in Indian art appreciation. Sadharanikarana should not be wrongly translated as generalization, it is universalization. If not, how could we empathize the pains of Sita when she was abducted by Ravana, the pain of Draupadi when she was pulled brutally by Dushasana, or how can we appreciate the commitment of Harishchandra for truth? All these things. Those people we don't know. We have not seen Sita. We have not in Sita. We have not even seen Draupadi. We have not at all seen Harishchandra. All these people, long ago, they are gone. But we get connected with them. At the same time, if it is a play, we are not going to rush and jump onto the dais and stop the character of Ravana by abducting Sita, and we are not going to slash on the face of Dushasana, the character, the actor, and Harishchandra when he is about to sell his own self, his wife and son for paying back the debts of Vishwamitra. We are not going to help him by raising fund. All these things we are not doing. At the same time, we don't say that all that is bluff, all that is nonsense, all that is rubbish. It's all false. There no Harishchandra, no Krishna, no Rama, no Sita, no Draupadi is seen. They are all actors who are known to me. And the role being played by a male artist playing Draupadi's role, something like that happens in Yakshagana or Terukkutu or so. So all that we know, knowingly we suspend it. That willing suspension of disbelief happens, and this is called Sadharanikarana. That's so it is universalized, and in that process we will be enjoying our own emotions without personal stigma. Ultimately, the Ananda comes within. I just bring a parallel to it. When we are worshipping Ganapati on Varasiddhivinayaka Vrata Chaturthi, Bhadrapada Chaturthi, Shukla Chaturthi, or Varama Lakshmi on Shravana Masa on the day, on the Friday before full moon day, there in such worshipping Vrata conditions, we are going to install the Kalasha or Pratima or those things, and then doing Prana Pratisthapana. We are invoking our own prana into that. Mama pranaha, mama jivaha, nishvasa rupena, bahiragatya, yavat puja avasanakam, asmin bimbe, asmin kalashe, asyam pratimayam, sukhena chirantishthatu swaha. Like that the mantra goes, asunite. Like that the mantra again starts. It means prana pratisthapana, we are worshipping our own selves. Na devo deva marchayet. This is how we are enjoying our own emotions without getting emotionally entangled. It means in the worldly state, what happens when we see two people moving closely in a park and exchanging hugs or kisses or whatsoever, a decent person would avoid seeing them. An indecent person who is very curious, peeping Tom, would gaze at them. But both these people are not getting the real joy of love. One who is avoiding, other who becoming an intruder, both are not feeling the love that the couple is having. But when that is happening in a novel, in a play, in a painting, in a musical session, while singing a javali or pada or a ghazal or something like that, or an ashtapadi, then we feel the emotion of love, the rasa of love, shringara. How it is happening? It is our own emotions. I am not going to the technical detail of explaining Rasa Sutra of Natyashastra, which is found in 6th chapter of Natyashastra. But what I am saying, this is how we are enjoying our own emotions without getting entangled by that. There, when we are enjoying a Shringar Rasa, we are neither lovers nor being loved by others. We are neither loving others or not being loved by others. At the same time, we are not indifferent to it. This is the very thing happens in Jivan Mukti also. To Jivan Mukta, the whole world is a cosmic play. That's why it is said in, in one work of Vidyaranya, one work attributed to Swami Vidyaranya, it is said, Dehabhimane galite vignate paramatmani yatra yatra manoyati tatra tatra samadhaya. When once we lose our personal connection with the body, our personal ego with the body, dehabhimane galite vignate paramatmani, having realized Paramatma, yatra yatra manoyati tatra tatra samadhaya. Wherever our mind moves, there we realize our samadhi. One shloka of Narayana Bhattatiri from Kerala is really quotable. He was a great poet, scholar in various shastras, and was writing plays called Prabandhas to Chakyars, the theatrical clan which is found in Kerala. Even today they are active. To the Chakyars he was writing lyrics. And all these Chakyars used to invite him for production, but he never used to go to them. Why you are not coming to our performances? Please do come to our performance. Watch your own plays being enacted, like that they requested. Then he says, I am every day, every minute watching the cosmic play. Yakritva Vishwarangam Rajani Yavanikam Bhanudipam Vishalam Shashvat Santushta Samprekshana Yakritva Vishwarangam Rajani Yavanikam Bhanudipam Vishalam शश्वत संतुष्ट संप्रेक्षक गणमखिल जगद्भ्रांतिनाट्यम वितत्य कर्मोघोच्चंड मार्दंगिकलय वशगान वासना गान सक्तान जीवच्छत्रान मुकुंदो घटयति सततम सस्वयं सूत्रधारः. The whole universe is stage, and night itself is the screen, and all the celestial bodies, the luminaries, sun, moon, stars, they have become system of lighting. And all the jivas have become the characters, and our karma, sanchita, prarabdha and agami, they are the rhythmic beats of the drums. To that rhythm we are dancing. The vilamba, madhya and dhruta, these are the three speeds in which the laya goes on. In that rhythm we are dancing, and our passions, our likes and dislikes, they are becoming the tunes. We are dancing to the tunes of our likes and dislikes. So when all this is happening, I am watching every day, every minute, every second this cosmic play. Then I don't need play within play that is of yours. This is the Jivan Mukta Anubhava. This is what it happens. And to get at least for a moment what would be the experience of a Jivan Mukta, one should undergo the experience of art. That is art experience, and that is the experience of beauty. Saundarya Anubhava, that is Rasa Anubhava. So why I am emphasizing the concept of beautiful in Indian culture is for this. If you can't understand the concept of beautiful, you having aspirations to understand Brahma is impossible. There is one proverb in Kannada. Attakke harade iroru bettakke hartara. Those who can't even climb the first floor, can they think of climbing Everest mountain? Impossible. Those who can't realize Rasananda, that is younger brother of Brahmananda, how can they realize Brahmananda? It's impossible. Who can't pass first standard, how can you pass SSLC? Impossible. So in this world, here and now, Rasananda happens to a Sahridaya. And Sahridaya is one person who can suspend his desire and activity for a moment. Kama and karma. And that naturally happens when we behold, when we come across great art. So, according to Vedanta, we have a chain of systems, chain of action. That is the first one, avidya, then comes kama, and then comes karma. Avidya is the inborn insufficiency, inborn paucity that makes us long for something. That is inborn emptiness, inborn deficiency. Avidya is a deficiency, it is a liability of the jiva. When it came, how it came? For that Shankar Bhagavad beautifully says, Kasyayam avidya prachatastavaiva. Avidya is the root cause of causation. How can you question How can you ask for causation to avidya? It's an impossibility. So it is a logical fallacy. One can't question avidya because we are already into it. And that's why avidya is there. That has to be eradicated only by Brahmajnana, nothing else. But Rasananda cannot eradicate, that is the concept of beauty, the enjoyment of beauty, that cannot eradicate but would make us eligible for that. As it becomes a yoga, kala yoga. I will come to it later. And then we have kama. When we have insufficiency, we will always have a need and desire to compensate for that. Desire to compensate. Kala, art is one such thing, beauty is one such thing, which is a yoga. Anayata pranama asanyataksham abrahmacharya nashanadikhedam chittam maheshe nibhratam vidhatum siddha kavinam kavitaiva yoga. So said Nilakanta Dikshita of Tamil Nadu from 17th century. He was a chief minister to Madurai Nayaks. He says, without having the trouble of pranayama, without having the conditions of austerity and other things, without even undergoing penance, fasting and other things, to focus our mind in Paramatma, the Kavita yoga, the yoga of poetry is already available. Yajnavalkya Smriti, one among the main Smritis of our tradition, on par with Manusmriti. We have three important Smritis, though there are 40 Smritis and 18 are very much well known. We have Manu, Yajnavalkya, Parashara, like that. Yajnavalkya is one of the most well written, most comprehensive and systematically presented Smriti. In Yajnavalkya Smriti, it is being said in Yatidharma Prakarana, Veenavadana Tattvajnah, Shrutijati Visharataha, Talajnascha Prayasena Mokshamarge Dhikachati. He who knows the technique of Veena, he who understands and has an awareness of Jatis. Jatis means the ancient name given to Ragas. Shrutijati Visharataha, knowing the 22 Shrutis. Talajnah, who has understanding of the rhythms, who has sense for rhythm. Aprayasena Mokshamarge Dhikachati. He treads the path of moksha without any trouble. That's how it is being said. And it is also known Gitadi Vishayaswada Samasaukyeka Tatmanah Yoginas Tanmayatvena Mano Rudes Tadatmata. One verse from Vijnana Bhairava. It says that तथा हि मधुरे गीते स्पर्शे वा चंदनादिके माध्यस्थ्य विगमे यासौ हृदये स्पंदमानता आनंदशक्ति सैवोक्ता यतस् हृदयो जनः. Tantraloka of Abhinavagupta, who existed before 1000 years in Kashmir, a very great yogi and a multifarious scholar, a polymath and polyglot, who was Sarvatantra Swatantra Mahamaheshwara. He wrote commentary on Natyashastra also, and a great treatise on Tantra, that is Tantraloka, and there he mentions about that. And then in the Natyashastra itself it is being told, Nathata Gandhamalyena Devastushyanti Pujitaha Yatha Natya Prayogagnes Tushyanti Stuti Mangalaihi Yagatir Veda Vidusham Yagatir Yajnayajinaha Yagatir Danashilanam Tangatim Prapnuyan Naraha. The gods are not going to get happiness, not going to not going to get appeased by Gandha, Malya, Dhupa, Deepa and others. Only when a beautiful Natya is presented, the gods also enjoy and they bless us. And that exalted state of Punyaloka, which is available to Vedic scholars and to people who perform yajnas according to the Vedas, and who are generous people who give munificent grants to the needy, and also well-known philanthropists, that exalted position which they'll be getting in heaven, that will all be achieved by people who are engaged in pure art, like that it's being said. So we have so many such statements culled out from our tradition. This will all express how Kala has become yoga, Kala yoga. And in Vishnu Purana and Shiva Purana, we have such references. It is being well told. Kavyalapascha ekechit gita kan yakhilanicha shabdamurti dharasyete Vishnuramsha mahatmanah shabdaswarupam akhilam dhatte sharvasya vallabha arthaswarupam akhilam dhatte balendu shekarah. The first verse is from Vishnu Purana and the second one is from Shiva Purana. whatever poetry, whatever music, whatever imagery, whatever sculpture, and whatever painting is being done, there we have the elements of Mahavishnu. Vishnu has manifested as Amsha there in all the beautiful art forms. And Shiva also. Whatever form and whatever content we see in art, art has two main things: form and content. Form is expression and content is experience. One is form is called Vakrata Bhivyakti and content is called Rasanubhuti. Rasanubhuti is Shiva, while Vakrata Bhivyakti, that is oblique way of expression, beautiful way of expression, is Shakti. Vagartha viva samprakto Vagartha pratipattaye jagatah pitarav vande Parvati Parameshwarav. Well known verse of Kalidasa, the benedictory verse of Raghuvamsha, there the inseparability of Shiva and Parvati is being spoken, and there we have all the form of art is Parvati and all the content of art is Shiva, like that it is being told. Well, coming to Bhagavad Gita, we have the 10th chapter called Vibhuti Yoga. There Bhagavan clearly gives what is beauty, what is exalted existence in nature, and what is in culture. Some pointers: Sthavarāṇāṁ Himalaya, Jyotiṣāṁ Raviramshuman, Nakshatranam Ahumshashi, Merus Shikharinamaham, Sarasam Asmi Sagraha, Sthavarāṇāṁ Himalaya, Ashvattha Sarvavrikshanam, Masanam Kusuma, Masanam Margashirshosmi, Rutunam Kusumakaraha, like that. He's saying, among the stable things I am Himalaya, among the mountains I am Meru, among the water bodies I am the ocean, among the celestial objects, the brightest one, sun. Among the things which are available, which are seen, which are visible in nights, I am moon. Among the seasons, I am the spring. And among the months, I am the Hemanta, the Margashirsha Masa, that is the first month of Hemanta, the fall season. Among the trees, I am Ashwatha. Like that, he is saying, all this is beauty in nature. Indian tradition, Sanatana Dharmic tradition, has not ignored beauty in nature. The very Vedic literature is an epitome of that. In the Veda, starting from the Rig Veda, very first hymn is connected with Agni. Agnimile Purohitam Yajnasya Devamritvi Jamhotaram Ratnadhatamam. There Agni, whether it is Agni or Varuna, the water being represented, Parjanya, the rains, and then Vidyut, the lightning, and the deity behind that is Indra, and sun in 12 forms, whether it is Mitra or Savitra or Vishnu or Bhaga or Aryama or Pusha or so many. And also the water, Apodevya, waters, the causal waters, and various rivers, Nadi, Gange, Chamane, Godavari, Saraswati in Puranas. We have Imam Gange, like that, the Nadi Sukta. There we have Shatudri is there, and we have the Vitasta is there, Vipasha is there, and then we have Sindhu. So many rivers are available, Sapta Sindhus in the Vedas. And also often and often reference to Samudra and Akasha, Vyoma, and also Dyava, Prithvi, and Akasha. In the Atharva Veda, we have one longest hymn consisting 63 mantras, perhaps the longest in the Vedic literature itself. There are several others also in the Atharva Veda, but this is one of the longest one. In Prithvi Sukta, we have the great Mother Earth being eulogized. Dyava, Prithvi, the dual deities which are being worshipped in the Rig Veda. And then we have the Saraswati river. Like that, we have so many things connected with nature. And the seasons, if you come to the Yajuraranyaka, we have one thing called Aruna Prashna there. In Aruna Prashna, we have Rutubhir Nudyamana. All 6 seasons are beautifully explained. And the dawn, Usha Sukta, one of the most beautiful suktas, bunches of beautiful suktas are seen, attributed to, which are attributed to Ushas, the deity of dawn. Like that, we have so many beautiful aspects of nature, profound aspects, sublime aspects of nature are being recognized and eulogized by the Vedic seers. And also the beauty of culture, which is produced by human beings. Again, going to the Vibhuti Yoga, Vedanam Samavedosmi, Brhat Sama Tatha Samnam, Gayatri Chandasamaham, Indriyanam Manaschasmi, Bhutanam Asmi Chetana, Kavinam Mushana, Kavihi, Aksharanam Akarosmi, Dvantas Samasikasya, Maharshinam Bhrugurham. Bhrugu represents art, economy, wisdom, talent, polity, medicine, and so many things. And one of the names of Mahalakshmi is Bhargavi, who hails from the Bhrigu dynasty. According to our Puranas, she was daughter of Bhrigu Maharshi. What it indicates, all art forms are attributed to it. Bhrigus, one among the sons of Bhrigus, is Shukracharya, and Shukracharya is called Kavi. Bhagavad Gita says, among the poets, I am Shukracharya. And even in our astrology, we have a beautiful connection. Wherever Shukra is in exalted position, in which horoscope we have Shukra in an exalted position, that person will become an artist, a singer or a dancer or a painter or a poet or whatsoever. Like that, Shukra has been given that. Many other things are connected with Shukra, of course, and also to Bhrigu. The Bhrigus are known for worldly wisdom, known for economy, known for prosperity. Shukraniti, we have that. And Chavana, known for Ayurveda, is from the lineage of Bhrigus, like that. And then Sama is one among the names given to beauty. Sama also means singing. Sama is music. Among the Vedas, I am Sama Veda, Krishna says. Among the Samans, I am the Brihat Sama. Brihat Sama is a very great Sama. Anything great, anything attractive, anything majestic, anything imposing, anything sublime is that. This is how he's saying, Bhagavan Shri Krishna in Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhuti itself means exalted existence. Art is one such exalted existence, and beauty is that. In the worldly experiences, we have imbalance. But in art, naturally, we have so much of balance. And this balance is called samatva. In Bhagavad Gita, we have two statements. Samatvam yoga uchyate. While defining yoga, he says, samatvam yoga uchyate. The balance is called yoga. And also he says, yoga karmasu kaushalam. Skill in activity is yoga. This aspect of kaushala and samatva are connected with beauty and art. Art should have its own intrinsic symmetry. And that is samatva. And art creation needs special skill, a special skill of very high nature, very high order, and that is kaushala. This is how we have references to beauty in so many ways. Why? We have numerous terms meant for beauty. Just see, from the Veda itself, we have so many references to beauty. Apa, Rasa, Shri, Vak, Rochana, Saraswati, Shubha, Shobha, Shubhra, Bhadra, Vapuhu, Vama, Rupa, Chitra, Kalyana, Lakshmi, Swadu, Swadishta, Madishta, Kanti, Rashmi, Dyu, Dyau, Madhu, Chandas, Shreyas, Sama, Peshas, Saras, Kala. So many names, so many terms are connected with beauty and art. And also Kavi, Rishi. There is no difference between Rishi and Kavi. In the Veda, frequently these words are interchanged. Kavi Krantadarshi, Kavir Manishi, Paribhuhu. Like that, we have so many references. Even in the Ishavasya, we have, even in the Rig Veda itself, we have. So many times Kavi Shabda has been used to Rishi. And Bhattatuta, the mentor of Abhinavgupta, whom I mentioned earlier, he says, Nan Rishi Kaviruktam Rishishcha Kila Darshanat Vichitra Bhavadharma Amsha Tattva Prakhyacha Darshanam. Kavi is not just a poet. He's a singer. He's a musician. He's a dancer. He's an actor. He's a painter. He's a sculptor and everything. And no gender also. There is no feminine gender for Kavi. Women are also Kavi. Men are also Kavi. Any person belonging to any number of genders, there are Kavis, artists. So, Kavir Varne, person who has vision, who has capability to express the realization of beauty which he had, he or she would become Kavi. So, and what is Darshana? A person who has this vision is Kavi. And what is that vision? Vichitra Bhava Dharma Amsha Tattva Prakhya. That person who could normalize, who could homogenize, who could align apparently different and apparently contradicting and apparently diverging things into one unison, one convergence, one conscience. He is or she is called Kavi. he is having darshana. Darshana means this integration. This holism is called darshana. Vichitra bhava dharma amsha tattva prakhyacha darshanam. And this is why in Indian aesthetics we have all shastras given munificent contribution to the development of this shastra. In the Laukika Samskrita also for beauty we have so many words. Charu, Valgu, Ramya, Ruchira, Rasya, Hridya, Manognya, Bhavya, Bhuma, Udatta, Udara, Sushama, Avadata. Many, many, many. See, when persons have lot of words in their language, it naturally indicates that they had very good acquaintance with that thing. For example, we know we have so many words connected with water in Veda. Ekashatam apavachaka shabdaha. It means they had so much of acquaintance with water. We have plenty of words meant for earth. We have so much acquaintance with earth like that. So as we have many number of words, we will be understanding so much was the interaction and so much was the understanding. And these number of words attributed to beauty, attributed to art, that naturally indicate that our people had great understanding of that, and it became a great science and great system of philosophy and great path for self-realization by equipping us, that is Chitta Shuddhi. Then in the Veda it is very, very clearly said, whether it is Shatapada Brahmana, or Aitareya Aranyaka, or Taittiriya Brahmana, or Aitareya Aranyaka, and then Chandogya Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, many, many ways we have plenty of such references. If you turn few pages from Ananda Kumar Swami, you will be coming across so many quotations from the Veda which are connected to this vision. All systems of philosophy, whether it is Nyaya or whether it is Yoga or Sankhya or Vedanta or Purvamimamsa, has contributed to the enrichment of Alankara Shastra, that is science of beauty. I am not going to the details, but this much I can say. This particular science of art appreciation and beauty appreciation has been empowered by all systems of wisdom and systems of philosophy in our tradition. Though supposed to be an youngest Shastra in our tradition, it has become a very robust Shastra. And also, we have Shaiva Tantra, Vaishnava Tantra, and Agamas. All these things have contributed to it. For example, the Sattvodreka concept in aesthetics has been a contribution of Sankhya and even Sadharanikarana. And Vyanjana Vyapara, the theory of suggestion, it is from Vyakarana Shastra. And then Rasa Siddhanta, the very concept of Rasa, Swaprakasha, Chinmaya, Vigalita Vedyantara, all these things are connected with Vedanta. Like that, every Shastra has given its contribution. That's so the concept of beauty has become a very serious subject in Indian tradition. And we have something like, to understand the Vedas and to give proper meaning to Veda and to interpret Veda properly, we need the aid of art appreciation and aesthetics. That is what Sarvatantra Swatantra Apara Shankaracharya, as he was known, Appai Dikshita, says in his Chitramimamsa. He says, art appreciation can become seventh Vedanga. And a 10th century scholar, poet, and a polyglot and polymath of central India who settled later in Kanuj or Kanyakubja by name Rajashekhara, he says Sahityam Panchami Vidya, while Kautilya says in Arthashastra only 4 Vidyas. Trayi Anvikshiki Varta Dandaniti, he says Sahityam Panchami Vidya. And he also says, he gives a beautiful story how Kavya Purusha, the person personified poetry, became son of Saraswati, and Saraswati had gone to settle the dispute among the deities regarding the meaning of the Veda. This Kavya Purusha helped her in resolving the problem. That means art can resolve the problems of philosophy also, for it is the miniature of the highest truth. And that's why by knowing the miniature, you can construct the complete building. By experimenting in the lab, you can go to the actual field. By planning on the drawing sheet or on the computer or monitor screen, you can go to the actual field. Like that, art has become a very handy tool in understanding the ultimate reality. And we have references to arts, 64 in number according to Kamasutra of Vatsyayana Muni. In the 64 arts, we have all arts, crafts, utilitarian arts, fine arts, commercial arts, all are included. This is from the Vedic tradition. And from the Jain tradition, we have the Prabandha Chintamani, which deals with 72 vidyas, 72 art forms. And even from the Buddhist system, we have Lalita Vistara, where we have 84 arts and crafts. Means not just from the Sanatana Dharma, even from the branches, main two branches, Buddhism and Jainism, there also we have these details. Like that, knowing from any perspective, we arrive at the same truth. And the nature of art is indirect way of expression, and that will be very, very enjoyable. And that is called Dhvani. Dhvani is the failure that succeeds. A very beautiful epigrammatic statement being given by Professor M. Hiriyanna. And Ananda Kumar Swami connects this to the Vedic literature itself. In the Aitareya Upanishad, we have one statement, Paroksha Priyayvahi Devaha. In the other Vedic literature, we have Pratyaksha Dvishaha. Even the deities, they appreciate indirect expression. Indirect expression is very much enjoyable than the direct one. Rasa can only be evoked, can only be realized through such indirect expression. One example I shall give from Ramayana. Vali was killed by Rama and Sugriva was coronated, and Rama and Lakshmana waited for Sugriva to summon his army, gather his army and wage war against Ravana. But they waited for the completion of rainy season, because in the rains it is difficult to move from one place to the other. And that's why they waited for the end of rainy season. By the advent of autumn, that is Sharatkala Agama, they thought Sugriva will respond, but nothing happened. Then Rama, with anger, sends message through Lakshmana to Sugriva. There Valmiki Muni says, Nacha sankuchitah pantha yena vali gato gataha samaye tishta Sugriva ma vali pathaman bagaha. O Sugriva, don't ever think that the way by which Vali went is closed. It is still wide opened. Don't ever make any attempt to tread the path of your elder brother. Be committed to our agreement. Samaya means time. It also means a pact or agreement. Be committed to our earlier pact, what we had. So he's saying, I will kill you, without saying that. Haro naropitah kanthe maya vishlesha bhiruna idani mavayor madhye saritsagar parvataha. A verse from Hanuman Nataka, again dealing with the Ramayana story. There Rama is lamenting because of the separation from Sita, as Sita has been abducted, kidnapped by Ravana. I had even fears that it will be a big hurdle between us. I never used to wear even a garland when hugging Sita. Alas, but no. Between us, we have ocean, mountains, and forests. What a contrast. This contrast is called Vishama an imagery. How was that? How is now? This contrast has made understand and appreciate the love for Sita, Rama's love for Sita. This is how art is the unexpressed, that is reading between lines. What is music? The melody between two notes. What is dance? The movement between two postures. Sculpture's postures are not dance. The movement between those postures is dance. This is how we have so much of beauty that which is being realized without being expressed. That is the implied one, and that is called Vyanjana Marga. This has been given for the first time to the world by Indians. Before 1100 years, by Anandavardhana, a great scholar and visionary from Kashmir, he gave the theory of suggestion. And Abhinavagupta later, he elaborated it, and he applied that to the concept of rasa in Natya Shastra commentary, that is Abhinav Bharati. So Dhvanyaloka of Anandavardhana and Abhinav Bharati of Abhinavagupta, they became two eyes of Indian aesthetics. Why I am saying these things? Indian concept of beauty and Indian concept of realizing beauty, it's a great legacy. It's a great heritage. We have created so much of beauty in our temples, which has stood the test of time since thousands of years. In our ragas, one raga like Mohana, that is Bhoop of Hindustani or Mohanam of Carnatic music, or one Malkauns of Hindustani or Hindola of Carnatic music. These are all thousands of years old. Starting from the time of Bharata, even from the times of Mahabharata, we have these ragas. Why? If you sing Samaveda, you can generate 6 main Melakartas. According to South Indian music, we have the Harikambhoji Mela, Karapriya Mela, Dhir Shankarabharana Mela, Hanumatodi Mela, Natabhairavi or Narabhairavi Mela, and Mechakalyani Mela. All these 6 melas can be generated by singing Sama, by leading to Grahabeda, that is Shadjagrahabeda as we call. It is well known to musicians. Even in the Natya Shastra, we get Grahabeda. This is the, and even from the pentatonic ragas like Mohana, Hindola, Shuddha Sannyasi, Shuddha Saveri, and Madhyamavati, we get all these 5 ragas. They are interchangeable. This set is very, very ancient. Even in the Tamil ancient music of Pand, which is being used to sing Tevarams, we have the same thing. And even the Western music also, it has taken from this. And there also we have these things. And even from the Middle East, everywhere we see such things. But Indian music is complete, holistic. The technique of Mela, which has been developed by sage Vidyaranya of 13th, 14th century. From then till Venkatamakhi and Govindacharya, we have the Melakarta system. Why I am saying this? This type of complete music system, which is very ancient, and any music of world can be accommodated here. Likewise, the 108 Karanas of Natya Shastra, the 4th chapter of Natya Shastra, Dr. Padma Subramanian has reconstructed all those movements. Any movement of any dance form of any part of the world can be explained, can be innovatively understood and recognized. This is how Indian art creation will empower us to recognize beauty in any art form of any part of the world. So also our Chandas Shastra, starting from Pingala, that has been developed, and also Alankaras, which have been developed since the time of Bharata. Even in the Vedas, we have Alankaras. Like that, every aspect of art, whether it is performing art or a plastic art or theatrical art or literary art, everywhere we have a great legacy, great tradition, horrid heritage of thousands of years. From there, art creation is eternal. It is being continued even today. In which language Valmiki wrote, in the same language I am writing, new poetry I am writing, by which instrument Krishna played the melodies, the same instrument is being used. Which drum was played by Nandikeshwara, the same rhythm instrument is being used now. The movements which were generated by Shiva during Sandhya Tandava long, long ago, and he gave that to Bharata Muni through Tandu, and that is even today being seen. So all this is universal. So at one side we have the creation of art, and at the other side appreciation of art. Both are very important. It's creation and appreciation. Creation is artistic and appreciation is also artistic, and that's why this is called Karyatri Pratibha, creative imagination, and this is called appreciative Pratibha, that is Bhavayatri Pratibha. Both like Ganga and Yamuna, they do go together, and Guptagamini, as Guptagamini, we have Saraswati, the spirit of art experience, that is Rasa, is always seen. I think time is up. It is time for question answers. I can go on and go on for years as this is my subject, but this much I can say. We should be very proud of our tradition on so many aspects, on philosophy, on Ayurveda, or on Arthashastra, and on so many things. We have our own legacy, we have our own parampara, and we should be justly proud of that. And we should all the more be proud of art and art appreciation and beauty realization. And without this, our understanding will become incomplete. Our understanding of Indian culture will become highly incomplete, drastically incomplete, and above all, we lose track of our maturity. Our measure of maturity can be measured in terms of our enjoyment. And that's why in Taittiriya Upanishad we have Anandavalli, the second chapter, where the Ananda Anubhava, step by step it is increased from Manushananda to Brahmananda. And this is just one step below Brahmananda, that is Brahmaswada Sahodara. Unless we have this as a sadhanopaya, Kala Yoga cannot be realized. And without Kala Yoga, a very easy yoga, as we know from Shrividyopasana, Yatrasti bhogo nachatatra yoga, Yatrasti yogo nachatatra bhoga, Sri Sundari Sevana Tatparanam, Yogascha Bhogascha Karastha Eva. Where we have enjoyment, there we don't have education. Where we have education, there we don't see enjoyment. While praying and contemplating Bhagavati, Saraswati or Lalita Tripurasundari, we have education and entertainment both happening together at the same time. Likewise, it happens in Rasa Anubhava, Rasa Anubhuti, and that's why we should know more about it. And this should become the universal way of understanding India, as this is Sarvavarnika Veda. Thank you. Namaskar. And I welcome your questions also.
Any questions from the audience? I would, Pradeep ji here.
And you can ask your questions in Kannada, English, any language.
Mahodaya, you said art appreciation and art creation. If I am correct, art appreciation is wider than art creation, if I am right.
Art appreciation is
Wider, bigger.
not essentially,
Okay.
because you mean one connoisseur can appreciate music, dance, so many other arts, while art creation, artist will be focused on one form of art, whether it is music or dance or painting or literature, whatsoever. So art creation becomes narrow. That's how we are saying.
So the part B question is, the art creator, the creation, the one who makes the creation, is also a appreciator.
Yes, certainly. That's what I told.
Yes.
Before creating art, one should appreciate art. One should appreciate the art of the Lord. Devasya pashyaka vyamna mamara rajiryati. This is what Atharva Veda says. Look at the poetry of Bhagavan, Paramatma, the whole universe. And that is the poetry created by him. First you read and enjoy it.
And part C and last one, is there any ratio? If there is a ratio, is it a cosmic design?
We
Creation
don't
and
have
appreciation.
ratio of appreciation.
Ratio and creation, is there any ratio? If it is there, is it cosmic design? Is it a cosmic
No,
design?
we don't come across such mathematical analysis. For we have gradations. We have degrees of art creation and degrees of art appreciation. We have Uttamottama, Uttama, Madhyama, Adhama, like that art forms. So also connoisseurs also Uttamottama, Madhyama, Adhama and all these gradations are there. In those gradations you can find the ratio. But we don't make it explicit. But this much is true. Art appreciation can happen only with appreciating nature, human nature. First we should look at the world around us and then come to it. Because before creating art, the first artist would have appreciated the world around him or her. Then only he or she started creating art. That's how the world is the first art form that is being created by the greatest artist Paramatma. And then we should appreciate that great artists, they look at the world with that homogeneity, with that balance. And there itself they see poetry, there itself they see painting, there itself they see art. And then they bring it to our level by creating their art forms. Because it is very difficult for us to look at the whole world like play or theatre. We have our own propositions and disposition, likes and dislikes. but while observing or enjoying art will not be having. So that's what I meant. Art is something like play within play. The whole universe is a play. Within that art is a small play. Like Garbhanka, as we call in Sanskrit Natyashastra Paribhasha, terminology of Natyashastra, Garbhanka means a small act within a big play. In Shakespeare's Hamlet also we have Mousetrap, a small one act scene appearing in an act. Starting from Sriharsha's Priyadarshika in India, that is 7th century king's play, Priyadarshika, we have many poets who have written that. Shakespeare is a poet of playwright of 16th century, but 1100 years before him, we first see play within play in India, whether it is Sriharsha or Kshemeshwara or Bhavabhuti or Rajshekara. Many people have written play within play. I am saying ultimately, those who are unable to appreciate the whole universe as a play, as a poem, they can do so happily, comfortably with the frame of the human art which is being created by us. Then they will become graduated to enjoy the cosmic play when once they make it a yoga. That is Kala Yoga.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Appreciating beauty in the context of, or rather, I can put it this way, kindly explain to us a few shlokas of Saundarya Lahari, especially in the context of appreciating art.
Fine, beautiful. Very nice question. Making things very focused and particular. I have behearted all the 100 verses of Saundarya Lahari. Let me recapitulate one. ललाटं लावण्यद्युतिविमलमाभाति तव यत् द्वितीयं तन्मन्ये मुकुटघटितं चन्द्रशकलं विपर्यासन्न्यासादुभयमपि सम्भूय च मितः सुधालेपस्यूतिः पर्णमतिराकाहिमकरः. This is the verse meant to describe the forehead of Devi. Lalatam lavanyadhyuti tavayat. This forehead looks like a crescent of moon, a digit of moon, half moon, crescent moon. Lalatam lavanyadhyuti. The light is nothing but beauty. Lavanyadhyuti lalatam. Lalatam lavanyadhyuti vimalamabhati. Moon has a dark spot, but this has no such thing. So it is better than moon. That is the suggestion. Lalatam lavanyadhyuti vimalamabhati tavayat. Dvitiyam tanmanye makuta ghatitam chandrashakalam. You have already one crescent moon in the kirita, in the crown of yours. That is why we know she is also Chandrakala Devi. There half moon is present already, and here one more half moon. Dvitiyam tanmanye makuta ghatitam chandrashakalam. That is first, and this is second. Second only by number, not by quality. It is better than that. Viparyasanyasa dubhaimapi sambhuya cha mitaha. If this half moon and that half moon, this is already inverted, you make it straight, upright, and then bring it together, then it will become a complete moon. Viparyasanyasa dubhaimapi sambhuya cha mitaha sudhalepasyothi parinamati rakahimakaraha. Then it will become a full moon. So your forehead is already half moon, and already the true half moon is present. You combine together, it will be a full moon. And the other suggestion is, your face is much better than that full moon. Here, this peculiar imaginative power, that is Kalpana, Pratibhana of Adi Shankara Bhagavad, it is so beautiful, so marvelous. How many people can think forehead, of course, it resembles half moon. But how that moon already existing there and then making it upright and bringing it together and joining it and making a full moon, and all this thing is possible only by Kavi Vyapara. One more verse just to bring in how the same idea can be worked out in different ways. Udarka siddhi michadbhis sadbhir nakhalu drishyate chaturthi chandra lekheva parastri bhala pattikaha. Again, forehead is imagined to be a crescent moon, but here it is not Ashtami Chandra, it is Chaturthi Chandra. Means 4 digits, that's all available. We all know from Varasiddhi Vinayaka Vrata, those who see crescent moon, before worshipping Vigneshwara, Varasiddhivinayaka, on that day of Varasiddhivinayaka Vrata, they will undergo social displeasure in the name of bad name, in the form of bad name. Means their name will get tarnished, apavada. Some false allegation will occur. This is what the belief is. And the poet says, Parastri Bhalapattikaha, the person who is never going to gaze at the face of other woman, the Chaturthi Chandralekha, the forehead, he will never have the problem of getting incurred with the Lokapavada. He would never be abused like that as an womanizer. Because if we have respect for women, we will not be gazing at their face. So, Udarka Siddhi Michadbhi, people who desire to have better position and better command in the society, they should never gaze at the other woman. They should never look at the forehead. They should look at the feet with respect. That is the suggestion. So, this way, the suggestion is there, beautiful expression is there. All this put together becomes poetry, and in both the cases, it is generating Shantarasa. Any other question?
Yeah, I have one. I have one.
Please.
So we have spoken a lot about identifying beauty. What are all the things in? What are all the beautiful things in our Indian culture? What is the siddhatha for a rasika, for a connoisseur?
beautiful.
How do we?
येषां निरन्तर रसानुशीलनाभ्यासवशात् विशदीभूते मनोमुकुरे तन्मयीभवनयोग्यता ते स्वहृदयसंवादभाजः सहृदयाः. So says Abhinav Gupta in his Lochana. One should constantly get attuned to art. No art form will reveal by itself very easily, especially the classical art forms, because they are time tested. We have to have some acclimatization. We have to develop taste for that. See, a popular music, film music or such thing, folk music, immediately we can catch up because the rhythm pattern is very simple. The tunes are very, very simple. For example, tu cheej padi hai mast mast, tu cheej padi hai mast mast. It is easy. It is something like dosa tiruppu pota pole. That's what the Tamil people say, like turning the dosa on the pan. So easy is that. Tu cheej badi hai mast mast, tu cheej badi hai mast mast. Like that it goes. It is in Bhimpalasi, it is in Abheri. But to appreciate Nagumomu Ganaleni Najali Telisi Nanubrova Rada. This Tyagaraja's composition, or one chota khayal or bada khayal in Bhimpalasi, it needs certain training. Or Panchashat Pitha Rupini of Muthuswami Dikshitar, we need certain training, certain acclimatization. We need no prerequisite to taste milk, because starting from an infant stage we used to taste mother's milk and it got shifted to cow's milk, like that it went on. But to taste coffee, especially sugarless coffee, the two milkless coffee, it needs certain development, it needs certain acclimatization. So varieties of tea and all. Likewise, we need certain training for that. Going deeper and deeper into the respective art forms, that is very important. For that, we need the popular art forms. Our tradition never shunned any art form. I have great detail of explaining all these things in so many forms of Rupakas and Uparupakas of Natyashastra and the late Natyasastric works, or even simple popular ragas, starting from the people like Tyagaraja, Utsav Sampradaya Kritis, Bhajan Sampradaya Kritis, and then we have Pancharatnam, something like that. That is the Tukdas and to Vilambakala Kirtanas, like that. Very simple Aditala to very complicated Mishra Jampe, Matya Jampe, like that. And then having different sorts of Yedupus and all. Very simple, very, very catchy movements. Something like the folk dances, Edaka Kridita, Mattalli, Samotsarita Mattalli, to very, very complicated and very intricate patterns of Karanas, Angaharas, and then Mandalas, many things which are told by people. Like that, very, very simple, short WhatsApp jokes. They too generate Hasya Rasa. Up to appreciating the poetry of Kalidasa or Sriharsha or Kumaravyasa or Kuvempu or Potana or Nannaya, Tikkana or Kamban or Tulsidas, many people, or even Jaishankar Prasad. So many things are there. So we have a very long, very tall ladder. So we have to get cultivated. We have to get acclimatized for that constant touch with that. That is very important. And having the company of such connoisseurs, satsanga, it is very important.
Thank you so much. I think we have
any
one
question?
last question.
Last question?
Yeah, he.
I remember Bharutrari at this stage
Fine.
who said, Sahitya Sangeeta Kalavineha Sakshat Pashuho.
Huh.
So a man should have one of these,
Huh.
develop one of these art forms in order to enjoy
Yes.
life. That
Bhartrari
apart,
says Sahitya Sangeeta Kalavihina Sakshat Pushu Pucha Vishadahinaha Tridanna Khadannapi Jivamanastad Bhagadeyam Paramam Pashunam. Those who don't develop taste for fine arts, literary arts, performing arts and all, they are equated to cattle without having horns and tails. In spite of living without grazing, in spite of living without grass, is the only fortune, the only good thing they are doing, and that's the fortune of the cattle. That's how he sarcastically remarks. In Gaha Satyasi, when Gaha goes, the import is those who don't have taste for fine arts, what is punishment to them? That itself is the punishment. No taste for art means to that extent they are already punished and condemned.
that apart, where does Bharutrari's Shingar Shataka fit in here?
Huh. Beautiful question. Shringar Shataka of Bhartrahari is not a great work of art. According to me, Bhartrahari's Vairagya Shataka is the real great work of art. Bhartrahari's name stands supreme because of Vairagya Shataka, and of course later the second position goes to Niti Shataka. In Shringar Shataka, the love that he depicts has become fleshy, very raw and crass and direct, no suggestion involved. But if you take Amaruka Shataka of poet Amaru, it is a great work of love. It is a great work of art. There, no verse is physical. Because Shringara or any rasa is ultimately Chitta Vritti Vilasa. It should be connected with mind and not with the body. Body is only a trigger, and ultimately you should end up in that. The physicality should only be springboard to jump into the pool of enjoyment that is Chitta Vritti, the mind and its attitude. Yoga Shastra is Chitta Vritti Nirodha, while Natya Shastra or Kala Shastra is Chitta Vritti Vilasa. Whether you insulate mind or observe mind, both will reveal you from the will ultimately relieve you from the clutches of the world. To come out of the clutches of the world, either yoga or kala. That kala is Chitta Vritti Vilasa. That has happened in Amaruka Shataka, but not in Shringara Shataka of Bhartrahari. Please.
We have one more.
Last question.
I am here to answer a number of questions. It's only the organizers who should worry, and also the auditorium people who have to maintain and close the doors. Please.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ನೀವು ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಜಗತ್ತು ಒಂದು ನಾಟಕ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಕಲೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪ್ರದರ್ಶಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ನಾಟಕ ಅನ್ನೋ ಇದನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಅಂಥ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಆ ಜಗತ್ತು ಒಂದು ನಾಟಕ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಅವನಿಗೆ ಅದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆದಾಗ ಅವನ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯವನ್ನು ಹೆಂಗೆ ನೋಡಬೇಕು?
ಅವನು
ಅವನ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯವನ್ನು ಹೆಂಗೆ ನೋಡಬೇಕು?
ವೆರಿ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. If a person realizes that the whole world is a play, is a cosmic play, what about his duties? His kartavya or karma will become leela. That's all. For example, Lokavattu Leela Kaivalyam is one among the sutras of Brahma Sutra of Badarayana. Please take your seat.
ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇದೆ.
We know Janma is product of karma according to our philosophy, and Janma is product of karma bandhana, and Janma ends up in death. So Janma, Mrityu and all that cycle goes on. It is bound by karma theory, that's how it is being spoken. But what about avatar of many people, many noble souls, including Paramatma, many avatars of Mahavishnu, and many leelas of Shiva and others? And even great acharyas are supposed to be avatars of so many deities and others. Their avatara is not bound by karma, it is leela. So also a Jivan Mukta, a liberated person here and now, will have his karma as leela. That's why Shankar Bhagavadpada in Bhagavad Gita Bhashya says, what are the duties that are prescribed for a sadhaka, for a realizing soul, are becoming the very nature of Jivan Mukta. In the other way, what is the nature of Jivan Mukta will become the sadhanopaya, will become the guiding lights of action for the people who should get liberated. Likewise, the seniors who have passed the examination, how they prepared for the examination will become motivation and pathway for the juniors to get prepared for the exam. That's how it's happened. Any other question?
ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನಂದರೆ, ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಅಭಿನಯ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೇಕ್ಷಕ ಏನಿರ್ತಾನೆ ಅವನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಅದು ರಸ.
ಎಸ್.
ಆ ಅಭಿನಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದವನು ಅವನನ್ನು ಮರೆತುಕೊಂಡು ಯಾವ ಪಾತ್ರವಾಗಿರ್ತಾನೋ ಅದಾಗ್ತಾನಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು?
ವೆಲ್, ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. He has not become that and yet has become that. The connoisseur is completely enjoying that he is rasa. Rasaha sahridayanistha. That's how Indian aestheticians all say. Starting from Abhinav Gupta to Jagannatha, all. Me too agree that. But how about artist? Will he not be enjoying? Yes, he will be enjoying, but his enjoyment will have certain responsibility also. Because if he loses track of it and completely gets involved, then Narasimha will tear open the stomach of the actor who is playing the role of Hiranyakashipu. He should not get over involved. Means that alertness will always be there. He should be vigilant about that. It is something like having known the in and out of driving. It is a sport for a person who is driving, who will be listening to music, chatting with the companions in the car, and also appreciating the beauty besides the road and all that, and yet he will be responsibly driving that. Supposed to. Like that he will be doing it. An element of responsibility will always be there. To that extent, his rajas will be awakened, and that's why it is rasaswada kalpa and not rasa.
I think we are running one last question here. Yeah, I think you can, sir, you can ask just like that. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 second, sir, 1 second.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I am your fan. The first time face to face. My one question is Tanmaya. We are deeply involved when you listen into music or art or anything. Now in Bangalore we have a lot of software industry and many people. They also Tanmaya, with that they go deep into that, they do coding, architecture and all that, technology point of view. So is there a rasa in that also? Is the question. And how to enjoy that rasa?
That the people who are subjected to it, who are suffering, that should say. I have not come across any software engineer saying that I am extremely enjoying my work. They all say I am extremely enjoying my salary. That's why you have reminded me one concept. So many things I have written, I have not even covered one sheet of my notes. One sheet of my notes which I have brought. 8 papers, 8 sheets of notes I made this afternoon for this talk. For 3 days I was reading different books because it should be a responsible act of mine. Product orientation and process orientation are two things. Phala, that is product, and prakriya is process. Art enjoyment is prakriya. Rasasvada is of present tense and is an experience. It is not product. At the end of music concert, you are going to enjoy. After Madhyamavati Raga being sung or Sindhubhairavi's Raga being sent, Pavamana Sutudu Pattu Padara Vindamaluku, Neenama Rupa Maluku, Nitya Mangalam. After that, nobody will be enjoying. Starting from Vatapi Ganapatim Bhaje up to Neenama Rupa Maluku, what are the music items which are being sung or being played? All that 2-3 hours or whatsoever, that will be enjoyed. Starting from the titles of the film up to Shubham. That span is that we are going to enjoy, starting from the first page to the last page, not after closing the book. Closing the book is only relishment through memory. It is recapitulating from memory the high points of that. It is not rasa. It is rasakalpa. Having the relishment of enjoyment is there, but it is not that deep enjoyment. It's not that deep involvement. But having completed 1 month of work, then you are going to get the salary. This is phala oriented. This process itself is becoming product that is in art experience. And that's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, Kripanah phala hetavaha. Mean are the people who are product oriented. Not I am talking about product oriented and then the program oriented software industry. Some people are product developers and some are writing the programs. I am not about that. What I am having here is, it is not an end product. Art appreciation is not an end product. It is the journey. And the journey itself is very absorbing. The whole reward is the process itself. You see, when you are playing, it's not at the end of play you get relieved of everything. You get that high point. It's the whole play. It's the whole sport. It's the whole game. That is how it is being expansive in nature, and that is Vartamana Kala, where you have forgotten both the coordinates of space and time. Where I am sitting, how long I am sitting, all this will be forgotten. This is art experience. But work, karma is suffering. Work is karma. If work itself becoming art means, that is enjoyment. For example, to me, my work itself is art. I read books. I write books, I read poetry, write poetry, I review poetry, all that is enjoyment. For me, no distinction between karma and leela. Everything has become leela. Unfortunately, to some people, leela will also be karma. It's very pathetic. For me, it is not so. Our main objective is try to reduce karma and increase the proportion of leela. For that, art will become a great aid. Classical art, that is sattvika kala, not tamasika and rajasika kala. In the name of art, so many pseudo things are coming. So many humbugs are happening. So many dupes are happening. It is not that art. What I am saying is the great art, whether it is of West or East. But we are belonging to our tradition and our roots, and we can enjoy better our arts. If not, Valmiki or Vyasa or Kalidasa, these people would not have stood the test of time. That's so you have to be. For example, one Mohana Raga, one Kalyani is standing even today fresh and young. Just this evening, if one lotus has blossomed, that's how the freshness of Raga Kalyani or Yaman or one Pantuvarali or Shubha Pantuvarali, that is the Sohani or Todi of Hindustani, that freshness is there. We have to know the secret of that. For that, be more and more attuned to our classical arts. Then we can appreciate every other art form in its own way. Thank you.
All good things must come to an end, but I hope Disha Bharat will organize much more talks like this, because we all came to know that it's only one page and picture to abhi baki hai. So thank you very much, Shatavadhani Dr. R. Ganesh, for this beautiful letting us into this concept of beautiful in Indian culture. I'm sure we have opened our eyes into how to appreciate art in its original form in the Indian context. Here and now, we definitely had the Rasananda, and I hope through this entry, someday we will get eligible for Brahmananda or Moksha Swata Siddha is what I can think of right now. Thank you so much for this wonderful evening, for this beautiful talk. I hope we take back a lot of things, including what is it to create art, how to appreciate art, and how Indian arts have stood the test of time, and it will stay eternal and sanatana. Thank you so much once again for enlightening us through the talk. May I now request Srimati Rekha Ramachandran, founder and trustee of Disha Bharat, to honor our speaker for the day. Thank you. Thanks also to Indian Institute of World Culture for providing us this wonderful auditorium. We all had a very good experience here. Thank you so much. Last but not the least, thanks to all the audience, the Rasikas who have enjoyed the talk today, who are here live with us and who are also watching us on YouTube. Thank you very much. I have a few announcements to make at the end of the program. This, as we know, is being relayed on YouTube. I request all of you to go back and share this talk widely so that more and more people understand the concept of beautiful in Indian culture. Books about that is being published by Disha Bharat is also there at the entrance. If anybody wants, kindly pick up your copies there. And if we want to volunteer for Disha Bharat, we can reach out to either Pradeep ji or Sneha ma'am there, who will help us in registering for volunteering with Disha Bharat. They're also there, will be there at the help desk in the entrance of the auditorium. Thank you so much. Thank you one and all.